Do you know you might be hit with a BC tax that you're not completely aware of? It is the BC home flipping tax that is coming into effect January 1st, 2025 for any property that has been owned for less than 2 years. So this is going to impact a lot of people, and if you're not aware of it, you need to be, so that you can plan properly and find ways to avoid paying yet another tax that is being put on real estate. Unfortunately, the BC home flipping tax has really gone under the radar because there are so many hot topics right now, including the increase in capital gains tax across Canada, the Airbnb regulations across BC, and the new zoning that is also happening in most single family lots across the province. That is taking up a lot of the media attention, while the BC home flipping tax is really under the radar. You can go onto the BC website, do a Google search for it, and you can find more information. But here I'm going to cover really high level how it impacts you if you own a residence, whether it's a rental or primary residence, if you've bought a pre-sale or if you've bought an assignment, because you really want to plan properly to help avoid paying this tax. We're already getting taxed quite a bit on real estate, so you need to be aware and educate yourself on how to minimize those payments. And this is one strategy that will help us from having our real estate continually inflate itself, because taxes is one piece of the puzzle as to why real estate continues to go up in this province. So I'm going to draw on the 3 examples. For the first one, I'm going to give the same example that you see here on the website, which is right from the BC government website. So the example is, if you own a property, if you purchase a property on May 1st, 2023, and you sell the property January 31st, 2025, income you earn from the sale of the property would be taxable. If you decide not to sell the property until June 1st of 2025, then income you earn from the sale would not be subject to the tax. Does that make sense? The reason is that if you sell it January 31st, 2025, you've owned the property for less than 2 years. By June 1st of 2025, you've owned it for more than 2 years. So how can you plan accordingly if you were planning to move out of the province in the next year and you've owned a property for less than 2 years? It puts you in a real conundrum. What you will probably have to do if you want to avoid paying that tax is sell it in 2024. So sell it before the end of the year. Now sell it even sooner than that, because you don't want to be caught in the rat race when everybody's worried about this tax, because now it's finally hitting the headlines and getting tons of attention. You want to plan accordingly. Plan calmly. I would probably sell it after this whole capital gains tax deadline of June 24th passes, and hopefully after interest rates have gone down a little bit. That would be the ideal timing if you are needing to sell a property because you're moving out of the province or you're upsizing or whatever other reasons you may have. But if you're thinking of selling a property you've owned for less than 2 years as of January 1st, 2025, then you really need to start planning to sell it this year. And I would say the best times, this isn't every year, only this year because there's crazy things happening, will be after that June 24th capital gains tax increase and after interest rates have come down. It'll be the best time to sell, because you don't want to be caught at the end of the year when everybody's trying to avoid this new BC home flip tax. Now, if it is your primary residence, there is a way for you to apply to get $20,000 back or something like that. I don't know, but you can talk to your accountant or look on the BC website. There are some exemptions that you can apply for, but you're still going to have to make your case, even if it was your primary home and you owned it for 2 years. In sum, if you're planning on selling a property that by January 1st, 2025, you've owned for less than 2 years, then you better sell it this year. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait until you've owned it at least 2 years to avoid paying the BC home flipping tax. Now let's go into scenario number 2. You've bought a pre-sale. When does the clock start ticking? I thought it would start ticking when I got keys. I just bought a pre-sale, and as you know, financing is so hard. I wasn't able to get good financing, so I had to go to a private lender at 10.9%. So as you can imagine, I really want to sell this unit, and I thought, okay, I need to sell it by the end of this year. Otherwise, I will be subject to this flipping tax. Turns out pre-sales are a little different. Your clock starts ticking the day you sign the pre-sale contract. Most pre-sales are sold 2 to 3 years before they close. So by the time you get keys, you've already hit that 2-year mark, and you can sell it on day 1 and you will not be hit by that BC home flipping tax. It is a bit of a conundrum because I'm sure the BC government implemented this new tax to avoid investors from making profits of properties and flipping them. However, it is mostly investors that buy pre-sales, so they will not be affected by this flipping tax, because by the time they get keys, that clock would have finished the 2-year mark. Now let's go into scenario number 3, which is assignments. What are assignments? A lot of people aren't familiar with them, but it's basically when you sell a contract to somebody else, typically for a lift, unless the market's really gone down. So when you buy a pre-sale, you sign a contract, you put a deposit, and you are assured that you're going to be able to get keys to that unit around a certain date for a specific price. During those 2 years when you're waiting for your building to be completed, you can actually sell that contract, that pre-sale contract, to somebody else. And typically you would sell it for a lift. That is an assignment. So when does the clock start for assignments? It starts when the assignment is implemented. So if I bought a pre-sale 2 years ago in May of 2021, I guess that's more than 2 years ago, and in May of 2022, I sell my contract to you as an assignment, your clock starts ticking in May of 2022. So by today of May 2024, you would be exempt as well from the 2 years. So you could sell it right away, January 1st, January 10th, whenever. You've already passed that 2-year mark. Hope that's helpful. Please make sure to pass along. We need more people to be aware that this tax is coming into effect January 1st, 2025, so they can start planning their real estate strategies. It will really break my heart to see people be hit with this tax knowing that they could have done things differently. So it's really important we get the word out. It's just not making enough attention right now. So I depend on you to forward this on and to share the knowledge.